Welcome back to Cass Mystery, the place where chilling tales and unexplained events come to life. Tonight, I have 3 terrifying true stories for you. Each one revolves around the haunting vulnerability we all feel when we're completely alone, in our own homes. So dim the lights, get comfortable, and brace yourself, because these stories are more than just fiction. The Shadow During the Storm. It was a cold, dreary winter day. The sky wept off and on with relentless rain, and thunder rolled lazily in the distance. Our narrator, a man in his mid-20s living in a small suburban home, had the day off. He decided to make the most of it by staying in. Video games, some hot comfort food, and a horror movie to top off the moody atmosphere. By 10 p.m., the rain had evolved into a furious downpour. Lightning split the sky every few seconds, and the wind howled like something out of a nightmare. The man got up to stretch and refill his water. That's when he saw it. A flicker of movement on the wall. A shadow. It was gone in an instant. Too fast. Too silent. He stood frozen for a moment, then cautiously checked the hallway. Empty. He tried to brush it off. Maybe it was a flash from the lightning. Maybe it was the horror movie lingering in his mind. But minutes later, as he watched YouTube on his living room TV, another shadow moved, this time just behind the screen. He snapped his head around. Again, nothing. Shaken, he forced himself to relax and eventually decided to go to bed. Wanting to unwind, he took a hot shower upstairs. The steam surrounded him like a cocoon. Then, a loud, violent thud echoed through the house, so powerful it shook the floors. He shut off the water immediately. The silence that followed was absolute, the kind of silence that hums in your ears. He crept downstairs and found the back door hanging awkwardly off one remaining hinge. The other 2 had been completely torn from the frame. Splinters of wood littered the floor, but the damage wasn't from the outside. Whoever had done it was leaving. They had been inside the entire time, probably hiding, probably watching. He ran upstairs, locked himself in the bathroom, and called 911. The police arrived, but the intruder had vanished. Still, the damage told the truth. Someone had broken in and stayed hidden, only leaving in a fit of rage or frustration. He hasn't slept soundly in that house since... Footprints in the snow. This story takes place during a heavy snow week in a quiet town. Our storyteller, a young professional working a hybrid job, was staying home due to the snow. He lived alone in a 1-story, 2-bedroom house and worked most of his time from a small desk near his bedroom window. One evening, after a long day, he stepped outside to take the trash to the curb. The snow crunched beneath his boots. Everything seemed normal except the snow on the side of the house looked wrong. Flattened, disturbed. Curious, he walked over and saw it clearly. Shoe prints, a single line of them leading up directly to his bedroom window. The same window where he had sat all day. He followed the prints until they stopped abruptly. The area showed signs of pacing. Whoever it was had stood there for quite a while. And this was during a snowstorm. He returned inside, deeply unsettled. He tried to sleep that night after checking and triple-checking the window locks. The morning brought no comfort. New footprints, right outside the same window. He ran outside to inspect and found the same scene. Prints piling beneath the glass. But something else was off. The latch was undone. Despite checking it the night before, someone had unlocked it. probably during the night. But he had heard nothing. Terrified, he called the non-emergency police line. They took a report, but offered little more. That night, while working again, he couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. By 8 p.m., he checked the window. No prints. He sighed in relief. But then he noticed the window opened easily. Too easily. His stomach dropped. Panicked, he grabbed his keys and fled to his car, calling 911 from the driveway. When the officer arrived, he entered to clear the house. Minutes ticked by. Then, the door swung open. The officer emerged with a man in handcuffs, bloodied, disheveled, hiding in a closet, mid-40s, silent and expressionless. No explanation. He had been inside the house. What he planned to do, no one would ever know. The man in the flannel. Our last story takes place in a quiet neighborhood during spring break. A college student rented an Airbnb in a small, unfamiliar city. The house was modern and clean, but something felt off. The street was dark, too quiet. The only lights on belonged to the Airbnb. He unpacked, had snacks, and put on a movie. Then, around 9 p.m., came a knock at the door. Confused, he checked his phone. No missed calls from the host. The knocking persisted. He opened the door. A man in a red flannel and winter hat stood there, mid-30s, confused. The man mumbled something under his breath, then turned and walked away. Strange, but maybe it was a mistake. The next night, around the same time, the knock returned. This time he checked the peephole. It was the same man. He cracked the door open and asked what he wanted. The man stared, hollow, expressionless. "No," he said, and walked off again. Deeply disturbed, the student stayed alert. He kept the bedroom door open to hear better. Around 2 a.m., he woke to darkness and a strange whispering sound. Then, a knock, louder, harder, more aggressive. He crept down the hallway and saw the same man, but further back, another figure lingered in the shadows. Then he saw a face staring through the back window. Panic overtook him. He bolted to the bedroom and locked the door as footsteps erupted around the house. Multiple people, maybe a dozen. Windows rattled. Doorknobs turned. He called the police. Minutes passed like hours until sirens broke the chaos. The intruders scattered instantly. When police contacted the Airbnb host, he was oddly nonchalant. The students suspected the property was involved in something shady. Maybe the men were after a previous guest. Maybe the host had enemies. He left the next day. The truth behind the invasion remains unknown. Final thoughts. These 3 stories remind us that even in the sanctity of our own homes, fear can find its way in. Whether it's someone hiding in the shadows, watching from the snow, or knocking at your door in the middle of the night, sometimes the scariest horrors aren't from ghosts or monsters, but from people. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Cast Mystery for more spine-tingling tales. And remember, lock your doors, check your windows, and never ignore a shadow in the corner. Sleep tight.